We are the ones we have been waiting for.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. Very unusual conversation coming up now with one of the world's most fascinating women, Queen Rania of Jordan, who recently was in America in that speech encouraging women, quoting that line made famous by African-American author Alice Walker. And at the same time, she decided to do something personal, give everyone a rare look at the lessons she's learned in life. The youngest queen in the world started with a lesson in a lunchbox. As a child, hers was filled with her mom's hummus sandwich or chickpea.
One day, I sat next to one of my friends and watched her open her lunchbox. But what was inside? Not a hummus sandwich, but peanut butter and jelly. And I thought, how revolting. Or in my 5-year-old lingo, ew, gross.
Feeling superior, she was trapped into an adventure.
And then one day, my friend suggested I might like to try her sandwich. I didn't want to hurt her feelings, so I braced myself and took a small bite. Do you remember Scooby-Doo? How Scooby would literally float off the ground at the thought of a Scooby snack? Well, that was my reaction to peanut butter and jelly. I thought it was heavenly.
When she stopped by the studio, she still smiled.
It was a Scooby-Doo moment. It was like, yabba dabba doo, this is delicious.
The first lesson, she says, love the old and the new. She was 22 years old, a business school graduate working at Citibank and Apple, when the commoner met her prince, and lesson number 2. And it was a dinner party? It was truly across a crowded room?
It was actually at his sister's house when we met.
Did you know he was looking at you?
I suspected he was, but I wasn't sure. And actually, you know, in a situation like this, you have to wait for him to make the first move, you know, because, you know, he was who he was, and I just didn't want to make any assumptions or, you know.
But it wasn't long before he took you to meet his father.
Growing up, King Hussein was someone I always admired, and I always looked up to him. When he first invited us for lunch, you know, I kind of in my mind envisioned something very, very formal and kind of like a banquet or something. And when I met him, he was just having, you know, falafel sandwiches. And,
from takeout?
From a local takeout. And then there was no protocol or pretense. And that was an important lesson because, you know, we have to show up in our lives as ourselves, no matter what role we play or what title we carry.
And that was a lesson passed on to her children, including her eldest son, 13-year-old Prince Hussein, who may one day be king.
It scares me to think that my children might grow up just identifying themselves as the son and daughter of so-and-so, because that's just going to make them very vulnerable. So it's very important for me to make sure that once we enter our home, that it is a home and it is a family life there. And so, you know, my son does not get a free ride. You know, he can't sit in front of the computer endlessly. He knows that there are limits. He can watch some of the shows that he likes to watch, but again, there are limits. It's something I continuously try to ensure they have. And my husband plays a very, very important role in that.
Last time we talked, you hadn't talked with your oldest son about the fact that someday he might be king. Mm-hmm. Has it taken place yet? Has he asked you?
You know, he's 13. He's more interested in his how to get his hair cut and what movie he's going to watch. Whenever I get a phone call from him, whoever's standing with me, I tell him, watch this. The first thing he's going to say is, can I? You know, all his phone calls begin with, can I? Can I have my friends over? Can I go to the movies? Can I do that? Can I do this? So that's what he's interested in at the moment. Those issues are, you know, way above and beyond him, and I wouldn't want to burden him with anything about that. It's just not fair.
A fourth lesson? Even queens suffer from guilt, the kind most women do.
Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves. You know, we don't cut ourselves enough slack. We expect to be great mothers and great wives and great career women, and trying constantly to achieve this balance in our lives. And you know, it's amazing how much we have in common. Someone once told me, you know, if you're trying to be a perfectionist, then you're always going for either 100% or 0, which means that you go through life averaging 50%. But if you accept the 70%, then you know, you're averaging 70% in your life, which is better. So you know, once I realized that, I started to just be a little kinder to myself, to say to myself that, you know, sometimes I won't be able to do this, but that's fine. You know, life goes on.
And she says, ultimately, a woman's strength is making the world personal, our joy, our grief. 2 years ago, terrorists attacked in her country. She went to the hospitals to visit the injured who had lost so much and thought of America.
It made me realize that if American women had been with me, they would have shed the same tears, and our tears wouldn't have been distinguishable because, you know, whether you're an American or you're an Arab, we have the same way of loving a child and losing a child. It feels the same way.
Together, she says, maybe women will build bridges around the world.
The voice of the heart needs no translation. The way we feel is exactly the same. Whatever we look like, wherever we live, however we pray, we respond to human suffering as human beings.
Majesty, thank you so much. And I want you to know, for your trip uptown, worked on these all morning long. We did.
Thank you. They look delicious. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Thank you.